So, Doug, would you so kindly please introduce yourself to our incredible delegates that are joining us on our next Reach Your Peak Kilimanjaro event in June?
My pleasure. Doug White. I live in the United States in the great sunshine state of Florida. Been a marathoner, which is how I met Stevie when we were in China, and struck up a friendship. And I don't think a month has gone by in the last almost 9 years that he and I haven't talked. Has to be face to face on Zoom so I can read his lips and understand what he's saying. But it's been a good friendship and a good partnership. How I'm connected to the pathway, I kind of counsel or consult on endurance, help people train, help people get the right gear, help people get packed and ready and understand that there's strategies in doing that and what you're about to face. Because when you're in a tent and the wind's blowing and all you got is your head torch, you want to be able to find what you want and not have to drag out your kit. So it's kind of those kind of lessons learned. Been there, done that. Been up Kilimanjaro 3 times, successfully summited each time. There are things you can do to be ready, but it is what it is. When you get there, the weather you can't control. Anybody can succumb to altitude sickness. Guides have before, so you can be as ready as you can be, but the event is what it is. My goal is to make you as ready as I can.
Brilliant. Thank you, Doug. What about the event itself and how the pathway do things? How do you sum up what Reach Your Peak Kilimanjaro is all about?
All right, so self-discovery. I think if I was to encapsulate it as concise as I could, it's a journey, not a destination. Everybody obviously goes there because it's such an iconic mountain figure in the world. But to do it with the pathway, it's really to summit yourself as best you can, to dig deep, to put yourself in these situations of high elevation, long, slow days, with people that maybe you work with but don't know. The pathway takes you to places inside yourself. It's hard to describe because as many endurance events as I've done, found nothing like the pathway. The pathway does it in a way that I have not been able to find anywhere else. Unique in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But I think if you're ready to really explore yourself and what you're capable of physically, but really challenge yourself mentally and emotionally to be a transparent, authentic person, the pathway is going to take you there.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that it's not just about reaching the roof of Africa, getting to the summit.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, Stevie and I love Kilimanjaro, and we love Tanzania, and we love the people, and we both got commitments to different charitable things there. But the pathway it isn't so much tied to Kilimanjaro to climate. It's tied to Kilimanjaro because it brings you to emotional places.
Yeah.
The country in the midst of the African continent, it's one of the most peaceful, settled, well-governed countries on the entire continent. That from the get-go makes it special, I think. The people are warm. The mountain is their life. They're connected to it emotionally. So there's so many things that lend it to be the perfect place for the pathway to go. But if Stevie and I, had decided it was in the Andes, we'd be going to the Andes, or the Alps or the Himalayas, which we might do because we both kind of have an affinity for Everest. Or Mount Fuji in Japan. I mean, there's lots of iconic mountains that you can climb. So it isn't so much Kilimanjaro is the thing. It allows the way Kilimanjaro is climbed is kind of different also, and I think that lends itself to the pathway. It's very slow days. It's very iconic scenery. You're going through 5 different climate zones, which if you think of your life, you have, your youth, your puberty, your early adulthood, your midlife, your late life. You go through climate zones in life. So it just lends itself beautifully to the pathway. But ultimately, it's a journey of self-discovery. It's who am I? Who do I want to be? How do I get from there to here to there?
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. So, what about if I was to say the clients or delegates who are joining us on this event, what would your three main key takeaways to look forward to for the event that they're about to embark on?
To look forward to, I'd say getting to know yourself in a whole new way, seeing and getting to know other people, because you may know them as colleagues, you may know them even as friends, but when you haven't, bathed in 5 days and you're living in a tent and you're all dining together in a tent and these things, you see people differently, and it's a real bonding experience. And third, just the beauty of Kilimanjaro, the beauty of the trail, the beauty of the people of Tanzania, and everything that country has to offer. And to achieve those 3 things, I would say let yourself be in the moment. Really let yourself be there. Don't talk about work, please. Don't, I realize when you get back, you got to tend your gardens and you got to, punch the clock and do all this, but be in the moment, be there, and really open your eyes to where you are, yourself, the people you're with, and the place you're at.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. So you touched on it at the very start. You've been with us, the pathway, for several years now, and in that time worked with many clients of ours, many delegates who have experienced not just a Kilimanjaro event, but a Reach Your Peak Scotland event, and leading up to a Reach Your Peak base camp event in Everest as well. And one of the key things that you work alongside our clients for is the preparation, the planning, the preparation, and getting ready for an event like this. So, what would your message be to somebody who is about to take on this event in regards to the planning and preparation and how important it is?
I'd say pay attention. Pay attention to the briefings. Go through the booklet, the pamphlet, the brochure. Read it, and then go read it again. And don't just necessarily read it in order. Flip it open, pick a page, read it again, because you'll read it fresh. I think people tend to gloss and start seeing what they think is there instead of what's written. People miss things. If you prepare properly, and when I say prepare, I mean physically get fit as you can, heart and lungs, especially concentration, and the packing. Get the right gear and know how to pack it properly. Warren's great tips on that. Obviously, you do, Ryan. Stevie's been up and down a few times. Leslie's been up. We all have experience, and it may, just pay attention. So much information is out there that I think people get to June 1st and all of a sudden panic because they didn't pay attention. And now all of a sudden their stuff doesn't fit in their bag. They got the wrong size bag. They got the wrong shoe, what have you. Just do it now when you've got a few months preparation. That's what all this time is for, is to make this trip so successful that you can reflect on yourself, because everything else is taken care of.
Yep. Very true. Thank you for that, Doug. Also, unfortunately, you won't be able to join us on this next expedition, this next trip, because you have another race lined up. However, with that being said, it doesn't mean that you won't be part of the planning stage, as I said, for the delegates. So how do our delegates get in touch with you then if they want to arrange a one-to-one call, which I would highly recommend, because even touch a little bit on your experience in endurance and what sort of events you've taken on previous, and also how you can help our delegates on a one-to-one basis?
Yeah, I'm very available for anybody. I'm on WhatsApp. I'm on the chat group. Certainly can just put an @Doug, thing saying, "Hey, I'd like to set up a private chat with you or a call." Any of the delegates from the U.S., I'm actually, I'm obviously closer in their time zone. So if something comes up in their evening when the UK folks are sleeping,
Yep.
I'm up. And so yeah, I'm available to anybody for any question, anything regarding Kilimanjaro, the pathway, or like you say, any other endurance event. I've pretty much done everything from running a 1 mile race to multi-day self-supported, pack your own everything week-long event. So and been all over the world doing it, every remote place you can think of, an environment. So my experience is fairly broad, but it certainly I think one of the reasons I enjoy being with the pathway is I can apply that to what people are facing on this. So yeah, if you have questions of any nature, I'm available to any delegate at any time. I'm currently retired, so I've got lots of time on my hands, and so I have no problem with anybody, even if if you have a delegate on the other side of the world. I don't mind getting up in the middle of the night to do whatever. Time has no relevance to me. I'm here at y'all's disposal.
Amazing, Doug. Thank you. And finally, what would your final message be to everybody who is about to experience what a Reach Your Peak Kilimanjaro event is all about?
Oh wow! Get ready. And I don't mean that as far as what we just talked about, prepping your bags and getting fit. I mean, get mentally prepared for something that's going to blow your mind. Spending time with Stevie Kidd in and itself is an experience. The energy that he brings to life is just as unique as the pathway is Stevie Kidd to me. I met Stevie Kidd on a bus in China, and we were both kind of just blown away about why the other was there. And that's how it all formed. And I just really encourage you to realize that you're not just climbing Kilimanjaro. You're going with the pathway and Stevie Kidd. And it will make a world of difference when you're sitting at a bar and somebody else says, "Hey, I climbed Kilimanjaro." And they go, "Oh, really?" Well, let me tell you about my experience on Kilimanjaro, and it will blow them away. There's just no comparison. So just get yourself, be open. Prepare yourself to be open, I think, is the other step. Get your gear ready, get your body ready, but get your mind and heart ready for something that just is going to be a life memory.